Good afternoon, people. Here we are again now in the park of Alameda of Santa Maria la Ribera, Saint Mary la Riviera. It is a very famous park within a colony, as we say it. And as you can see, it is around 3 o'clock of the afternoon, even though being a day within the work days, it is a work day, so it is very calm in here. It isn't just famous because of being in the middle of a colony. It is famous because it has this kiosk, the Moorish kiosk. Now we're facing the south front of the kiosk, and that is the principal entrance. So we're gonna get close to know better, and then you will find why it is being called or known as a Moorish kiosk. So there you have it. The motif eagle is a representative of the Mexican flag eagle, but it was created around the end of the 19th century. But the history of this kiosk, it wasn't created and placed here. This park is its second home. But as for now, it has more than 100 years of existence. So as you can see, all the motifs remind of this Arab design, with a combination of classic motifs, little classic motifs. This kiosk becomes the most representative construction of this place of Santa Maria la Ribera. So during all the years there have been restorations, and the last one just made a good work, because for some years it was just left alone, and of course rain, sun, wind take a toll for this kiosk. So if you are going to visit Mexico City, just be sure to come to this kiosk and see it for yourself in the whole detail. Have selfies, few photo snaps, take the memory for this centurial kiosk. So let's get back to this kiosk and take a round trip on the park. Originally, this park was called to Alameda for the Alamo trees. Now it's just populated of a different kind of trees that you can see. It gives you a very refreshing shadow now that is that we have a very clear sky. People just came here to have a relaxation time. It uses it to pass, to cross it. Afterward, you can came here, had a little, and nearby you have some restaurants that you can visit. Let's say that this is going to be the first part of knowing this park, because we can come one Sunday and see all kinds of activities that goes around on a weekend. If you see this kiosk from a map, you're gonna find that it is located just in the right center of the neighborhood. And it is a very characteristic neighborhood because it has now a mix of modern, we can say modern because there are constructions from the 1950s, 70s, mixed with 19th century buildings like this one. This is a museum. Of course, before it was not, but now it belongs to the Geology Institute of the National Autonomous University of Mexico. The pandemic has restricted access to these museums, but we can have a visit, and so next time I'm going to come here with you and showing you what you can find that makes a very typical museum from this neighborhood. These local expositions. Sometimes they bring paintings from local artists, and we are connected on Wi-Fi too, because the Mexico City government has established some Wi-Fi points, several Wi-Fi points for people to get connected, because not everyone can bring data cellular data sometimes, and you can count on these Wi-Fi spots to connect your telephone, your computer, and stay connected. We can see here a local music man making some good riffs. That whistle in the... I don't know if you can hear that whistle. We know it's a very typical sound from Mexico City neighborhoods, where knife affilator, we can sharpener, that's the knife sharpener sound to call all the people for to leave out, and makes them sharp their knives. So it's a person who gives a local service. There you can have that little shop place. You can have some fresh paletas, as we tell it. And it's very typical that the kids after school come here to have their snow, their favorite snow. Water and ice cream. These fountains are not always turned on. Sure, it makes a beautiful spectacle when they're turned on, but look. This is very relaxing and calm place.
Entonces allá.
Let's see. And in here in Mexico City, it is now being opened sometimes to make these spaces for dogs. Every morning, even afternoons, people bring here their dogs, and as you can see, there is no grass in here. For every person who brings their dog to have a stroll, I mean, he can play in here. As you can see this person. There you have it. These little dogs, these couple of dogs are already getting ready to play. So in Mexico City we can find these kind of spaces dedicated just for dogs. And it's usually all clear with off grass for them to enjoy a while. There you have it. There are families that obviously doesn't have just one dog, they can have 2 or 3. Or sometimes the dog sitters bring about 10 dogs to ride in here, and they can just hang out and have fun, not just being inside of their houses. So it's a very, very long space in the park for them to run and have fun. There are anything here. This is near the north face, the north part of the park. As you can see, this is a different construction. This is about the 1980s, 1990s. It was constructed. The buildings of apartments are over this little mall that you can find in the north part of this Alameda of Santa Maria la Ribera. Here you can have some pizzas, sushi, ice cream too, and bread, coffee and bread. In that place downstairs, El Globo. But I wanted to get back to this statue, this little monument. You see, it is a constant in Mexico in general that we have this statue of Miguel Hidalgo, which it was the initiator of the Mexican independence in the 19th century, as you can see here, this year 1810. We usually don't have, some statues don't have a plate for let us know which or who was the author. Then we have our hero, or one of the most representative heroes of the nation, that has become the symbol of Mexico independence. When the pandemic hit and it was closed down, this park, most of the park were closed. You didn't have the chance even of take a walk. It was just closed. Now that this has become a normality to live from home, the park itself has been visited by the local neighbors, and during the week it is not as populated as in the weekend, as I was saying. Around the park there are still other business. And every neighborhood has their particular places, unique places. Well, this is a change of coffee and bread. But in this corner, as you can see, look this corner. This is more a building of the 1950s or 50s, as you can say. There is a restaurant which particular business is to make quesadillas, big tortilla with there are big tortillas, they are like about more than 12 inches, 15 inches tortillas with food, and you can have one of those quesadillas and get a good meal there. So there you have this 50s architecture with the neoclassical and classical buildings. You see, we are just seeing this street. It is known as Dr. Atl. Atl comes from the Nahuatl language, and it means water. It's like Doctor Water. That was the name that the painter Gerardo Murillo took itself to represent his name and his artistry. Now this building only is a gym. That was a little museum before, and now it has changed to a restaurant within a gym. Even here they were taking this parking space to make public exhibits, concerts, movie showings, but that changes from time to time. This park, it was also famous because the contemporary artists, known as contemporary artists, novelists, painters, writers, used to hang around in here. There's a Mexican novel known as The Size of the Hell of Arturo Zuela, who make this park a principal character of the novel, talking about a century-long history in which this Alameda of Santa Maria la Ribera is a protagonist. Buenas tardes. That's a neighbor. You can see, there are a couple of restaurants. One from Oaxaca food, another sushi. Being this neighborhood, there are schools nearby. In Mexico there are public schools and there are particulars or private schools. This is a private school. And other places. So many people has passed in this park, and this park has seen some changes. I remember I didn't live around here when I was a kid, but I like to pass, and I was very attracted of the kiosk and made me curious about this park. Now that I have living around here, I've seen changes, sometimes very good changes, sometimes very bad ones. But I just fell in love and have been comfortable to be around this park living. Here we have two other business. This is Kolobok. It has now a coffee in the middle. Around this, it's another coffee station, and Kolobok has established in here for more than 10 years now, and they give Russian food. So there you have it. You can come here, take a walk around the park, and go to eat some Russian food. I have an ice cream in this place, which is a very, very famous chain. Not exactly chain, but there are many stores, business known as La Michoacana, where you can have water or ice cream, water drinks of Mexican and typical Mexican fruits, and another cafe that has taken the name of this Alameda Cafe, Alameda. And there you have the iconic Moorish kiosk in the front of the business. This is Choco's Cafe. It's a new business around Cafe Alameda, but you know what, when you come here and you have coffee and there is like not much people, you can stay a long time enjoying the coffee, and the weekends it's a little more full, but it's still enjoyable for the place. This little food truck that belongs to this cafe. This is dedicated for burgers, not open in this moment, but hey, you can have the option of taking a burger or a coffee and some piece of cake. Before there were not these places to park your bicycles, as in here, but we're in luck now, because the Mexico City government has implemented places to park your bicycle, because they have the plan of gradually become this city more bicycle possible. So let's get back to the music kiosk, and now that we just have a round trip around the park, I'm going to talk with you about the history of this kiosk. So as I was telling you before, this kiosk wasn't really placed here for the first time. Yes, there was a park, but it was just created and placed in the Alameda Central Park before. So let me take some remindings, because this park is located between two streets, that would being Salvador Diaz Miron and, as I told you before, Dr. Adel. And it is the park. It is the equivalent of one block of the neighborhood, Santa Maria neighborhood. So the history of this kiosk dates back to the 19th century, and it was designed by an engineer known as Jose Ramon Ibarrola. It was created for the Universal Exhibition in New Orleans, and then went in the 1884, in the final years of the 19th century. That took place in New Orleans, and after that Universal Exhibition, it was taken back to Mexico. But from the beginning of its construction, the engineer of this kiosk faced the problem of not having the foundries in Mexico with the capacity to make his dream completely true, that it was this iron structure. But thanks to Andrew Carnegie, who was owner of the First Major Steel Company in Pittsburgh, this kiosk came to life. So he have to go a long way to make true this kiosk. Later, that structure from Pittsburgh was transferred to Chicago, and from Chicago to St. Louis, Missouri Fair, and then participate in the New Orleans exhibition, Universal Exhibition, as a representation of Mexico. When the exhibition concluded, then this pavilion arrived to Mexico City, but it wasn't installed in here as we can see. It was installed in the biggest and most famous park of the Mexico City, known as Alameda Central. We're gonna have a visit later in that Alameda Central. When it was there, this pavilion, this kiosk, were used to hold events of national notoriety, where they announced prizes. They had movie exhibitions, music presentations, and because not all the people know the name of the creator, of the engineer, of Jose Ramon Ibarrola, and so those details, the people around that time began to say that it was created in China, it was created in some Arab country, because everything of this reminding them to the oriental places. When it was in the Alameda Central, the former President Porfirio Diaz, which was a famous president known for his 30 years of ruling the country, which gave him the name of a dictator, one of the most famous dictators from Mexico, used it to commemorate the Mexico independence and hold every year celebration. But he needed to Porfirio Diaz ordered to make another monument to honor the other former president Juarez, which, if you know, you've heard of his name. He was famous for confronting the French Empire and winning over them. So Porfirio Diaz thought of make another monument known as Hemiciclo to Juarez, and the place where he wanted to build it. It was the place occupied by this Moorish kiosk, and so they have to transfer this Moorish kiosk to another place, and the place was in here, in the center of the neighborhood of Santa Maria la Ribera. Santa Maria la Ribera being some of the very new and elegant neighborhoods of the middle of the 19th century received this kiosk very presently, and since that time has become the iconic kiosk of this neighborhood. As it's been known, it is been called Moorish because it resembles the Islamic architecture. For these arches, these columns, look the detail in the columns. If you happen to see another Islamic constructions, you will see the resemblance. It's really impressive. You can even pass a lot of time contemplating all these details. It is really impressive. For me, it is something I admire so much. And well, I'm gonna interrupt a little to these folks there to let you see the dome from below, and you will know look. You see, this dome is incredible. And with the combination of these designs, makes it more impressive. This monument, as I told you before, it has passed lots of issues because when it was new, obviously it was very visited. You could see from here the people having strolls. And local governments tend to take care sometimes, even neighbors, but not always. Here is this surrounding park. So besides of this and the importance of this construction, it wasn't until 1972 that it was declared as an artistic monument of the nation by the National Institute of Anthropology and History. And today, as you can see, it's still a meeting point for all the inhabitants of this beautiful and historic neighborhood, and as for anyone who wants to visit it. As you can see, you can have a meeting with your friends, have your dance classes, sometimes they do yoga, or just have some good time outdoor hanging around. This is the most recent restoration that has occurred to this kiosk, and dates back for about 10 years. I don't remember exactly the year, but very much of the details, they were like destroyed. They were vandalized. Sometimes this protection that had, they were even vandalized. That one just save it, not just disappear, but it's save it. But it is used even for placing cables and things for corners and concerts. The view from here is very pleasant. Imagine the view from the top of the pavilion of the dome. After the restoration, obviously there were new restrictions because it was hard to make the people to be aware of taking care of these places, because like in this art, it was spray painted. They have to regularly come to clean it, and the floor, it wasn't made before of this wood. It was a type of marble, so that changed too because they took advantage to have skating, use it like a skating place, and it became damaged so bad, very damaged. So now this being wood, it is ultimately forbidden to skate or skateboard in here. You can do that outside this kiosk because you have a lot of space to do it. This kiosk has been a protagonist of even of films, commercials, and this Moorish aspect is very well recognized every time you see it in films, commercials, and soap operas on the TV. So everyone who visits here finds it as an incredible place. Around the kiosk, you have spaces to walk, have a ride with your skateboard, even your bicycle. The kids here on the weekends comes to play football. Here in the States, sometimes there are political gatherings or local government gatherings for announcement to the neighborhood. I'm gonna ask you to imagine every morning at 9 a.m. the people come here to exercise and dance. So they come during 1 hour to make exercise, dancing, and they're very dedicated. There are young people, moms that come to exercise after they have delivered. They had taken their kids to the school. Not good that we're getting back to school. So this kiosk is still it's a very, very magnetical and representative place. I mean, maybe it's like too much if you like to be here and there, change of places every time, but if you have if you're like a slow tourist, you can be here like 2-3 hours, go around there, search for a restaurant, have a coffee there, eat Russian food, have some other coffee, ice cream, hang out in these chairs, in these benches, and enjoy walking inside the kiosk. There you can, in the center of the kiosk, I hope that doesn't disturb so much. This is the national shield of the Mexican flag. The eagle eating a snake above an palm, which is the vision, according to the legend of the Aztecs, the vision that they had when they were walking through Mexico, searching for the place where make the foundings of the Mexico Tenochtitlan city, and that's why that image is the representation of the Mexican flag that we see waving very happily over the sky. So if you want to, well, it is a Moorish aspect you see here, but we tend to identify this architecture with the neighborhood architecture like Porphyrian to name this architecture classical with the mix of neoclassical. And recognize this park as a very Porphyrian park. But here we are in 2002. And look. Everybody can have an opportunity to take some pictures of this place. It's very impressive. It's really, really impressive. Let's make another round from the exterior for you to contemplate the structure. And still the eagle over the dome.
Hay una esquina. Hay una esquina que vas por allá, a media cuadra hay dos tienditas.
So very fancy, isn't it? Let's see it from the back, from the north face of the Moorish kiosk. See, so there you have it. A very characteristic view. They're gonna see it from the east side, the east face. Very like.
Inclusive te digo, si regresa, porque puede que regrese, si regresa.
How about it? Nice, eh? I don't know, but I just love it. I hope you do too. So look, you can have a walk with this view. Just pick a good hour of the day and come here to enjoy this view.
Porque nosotros enseguida nos fuimos a
Even in the night, it's not all too illuminated, but you can have a ride around here, and it's very, very calm. Before it was this colony was a dangerous colony neighborhood. There were like many assaults, and you didn't have idea of if anything is going to happen to you if you happen to be here around in the night. Most likely you could be assaulted. Now that is not happening again. Even I had just passed walking here in the night, and it's very calm. There are other dangerous streets, but at least around this parking at night you don't have that problem anymore, and we hope it stays like that. Here, after year from year after the restoration, it has been used this place for gatherings, and especially not another celebration, but especially the Day of the Dead, Dia de Muertos. Inside the kiosk, you have lots of white. No, it is the yellow flowers known as cempasúchils, flowers of cempasúchil, which are very characteristic, very typical of the Day of the Dead, with some other sculptures. They make like fake tombs representing the deaths that are being honored. There are artists, there are neighbors, and during two straight days, this kiosk is all full and dedicated to the Day of the Dead. The Day of the Dead is mainly one day dedicated to the adults, and the second day is dedicated to the children death, remembering your children death. So it has been an honor to present you this park and this Moorish kiosk to you. And this is an invitation to visit Mexico City, to visit a place like this and enjoy our parks. So I'm gonna invite you to watch my next video, because I'm gonna talk again about this Moorish kiosk. Hello, Julian here again. So in the next video I want to invite you to see it, because I'm going to present you the Alameda Central Park, where originally this Moorish kiosk was established for some years before it was changed for the hemiciclo of Juarez by the President Porfirio Diaz. So that monument occupied the place where this Moorish kiosk was, and then it was established in here for all times to come. So thank you so much for taking the time and visit with me this park, the Alameda of Santa Maria la Ribera, with this very famous Moorish kiosk.